session. I am Excellency Fatimata Chefou, Ambassador of Niger to Italy, and Chair of the African Regional Group to RBAs, Rome-based agency for United Nations, representing a continent deeply committed to addressing the challenges of desertification, climate change, and land degradation. As member of a nomadic community, I know how vital nature is to our survival. For us, nature is not just a resource, it is our marketplace, our pharmacy, our sanctuary. As a community that has lived in harmony with land for generations, we understand deeply the importance of resilience. When the land thrives, we thrive. When the land suffers, we all suffer. This is why today's discussion have been so powerful, because they remind us that the health of the land is inseparable from the well-being of its people. Throughout this day, we have explored how resilience can transform challenges into opportunities and how collective action can bring meaningful change to the people and ecosystems most affected by environmental crisis. As Nelson Mandela said, it always seems impossible until it is done. These words resonate deeply today, and as we look back on the lesson learned and forward to the actions we must take. It is now my honor to guide this closing session, where our distinguished speakers will share their reflections and recommendations. Together we will highlight the most significant insights from today and identify ways to turn them into concrete steps for actions. Our first speaker is His Excellency Abdul Aziz Al Shaybani, Deputy Minister of Water of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. With an impressive career that began as geophysicist at Saudi Aramco, he has advanced to become a key figure in water resource management and serves on the board of Saudi Geological Survey. Your Excellency, we would be honored to hear your reflections on the importance of resilience for people, nature, and development. Welcome, Excellencies, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much. This is not my speech. This is just the schedule of this session. Again, thanks to the organizers of this conference for selecting this important topic, Resilience Day. We talk about resilience in water, we talk about resilience for land, and we talk about resilience in many aspects, and they are all connected together. Being probably the wrap-up session and coming here for the first time in this hall, just wish you or hope you have been enjoying this conference and your stay in Riyadh, and that you are meeting what you expected and more. Resilience deserves more than one day. When we talk about water, of course, to start with, Saudi Arabia is an arid country, so drought is not something that we see as an occasional event, but it is something that we live with all the time. That's why it is extremely important to develop management tools, to develop warning, to develop even the definition of drought and adaptation or mitigation for droughts. I will talk about a few things that we are doing in the water sector and for water resilience. Again, Saudi Arabia is an arid country. In some parts of it, you can even say hyper-arid, so drought is always there. And it receives, those parts receive very little of rainfall. Not only that, but it is infrequent. So one year you receive some rainfall, and 3 years in a row you do not receive much of rainfall, and it is always the case with arid regions. However, there are parts of Saudi Arabia that are less arid and that receive more rainfall, and these are the southern or southwestern parts of the kingdom, where we receive, or that part of Saudi Arabia receives probably 200 to 300 millimeters of rain per year. There we are trying to really utilize the little rain. Some of the countries think of 200 millimeters as very little, but in our situation, we are trying to maximize the benefit out of this. So we tried different ways of rainfall harvesting. The obvious tool is building dams, of course, and we have around 570 of those dams. And we collect around, or the capacity is about 2.7 billion cubic meters that not necessarily receive it every year, but this is the capacity of the dam. Some of the dams receive their capacity more than one time in a year. There are other methods that the ministry started developing in those areas that are richer in rainfall. For example, building or constructing terraces, creating terraces for rain harvesting, and other methods. The National Center for Vegetation Cover and Combating Desertification also started a big initiative to restore lots of land and protect. So if you know Saudi Arabia 10 years ago and you see it now, you will see a big difference. Driving along the road from here to Dammam on the eastern coast, you can see a big difference in the vegetation cover. It is all connected together. So if you develop methods for water resilience, for water security, you are also impacting you are also dealing with the drought. And I've learned a lot. This is not an area that I really claim that it is my area of expertise, but coming here today, I learned from the experience, the cases of different countries, what they are doing in terms of drought resilience, in terms of developing mitigation, and in terms of working with the local people. And I asked some of the colleagues here, is there an international body that really under which people, experts, and people and representatives of countries can gather and can develop strategies for mitigation or for resilience and for drought, working with drought. I think I was told there is probably a committee, right? But I believe there is a need, really. It is very obvious that there is a need that some intergovernmental or organizational body exists to develop a strategy for resilience, dealing with resilience, and working in local communities trying to cope with resilience, whether it is in the water side or in the food side or in nature-based solutions. We have developed strategies for water, we have developed strategies for food, we have developed strategies for agriculture and environment, and I believe it is time really to look into drought, gather all organizations here in the kingdom. And I know there is an effort from the environment sector here in the kingdom to develop a strategy to study drought, develop a strategy to mitigate and link it to the different sectors that have been developed. Of course, water comes at the top of the list when we talk about drought and resilience. Again, I thank you very much for organizing this, for assigning this day and for organizing this session. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Gabe. Welcome here.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for your thoughtful insights. You have reminded us the critical role of resilience in balancing human needs with the preservation of our ecosystem while fostering sustainable development. Thank you, Excellency. Our second speaker is His Excellency Hassan Baki Jamus, Minister of Environment of Chad. With expertise in public finance and taxation law, he has held strategic roles, including economic advisor of the President of Chad. Since October 2024, he has led the Ministry of Environment, championing ambitious policies on land management and ecosystem restoration. Your Excellencies, welcome. Could you share, welcome please. Your Excellency, could you share your insight on the role of landscape restoration in ensuring food security and building resilience for community in Chad? The floor is yours.
Pardon. Si à la traduction, moi je préfère plus parler en français. Je crois que les gens doivent aussi... voilà. Merci.
Thank you, Madame Fatimata. I would like to, Excellence, Minister of the Saudi Arabia Kingdom, and with the eminent personalities gathering with us, I would like to change something. I am Director General for the initiative of the Great Green Wall in Chad. I apologize. You know, sometimes electronics would have a bad side. Okay, I got it. Oh, good. I got it. Thank you. Mrs. Ambassador of Niger, Fatimata Sheifo, Madame Andrea Meza, Executive Secretary, Madame Safia, Safa Alta, from the World Bank, Mr. Abdullah Al-Warda, Your Excellency, Mr. Abdul Aziz Al-Shabani, Deputy Minister of Water, Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. I am honored to take the floor today in the name of the Minister of the Fishery and Environment, who couldn't, despite the calendar imposed, to get back to the country, and gave me this honor to represent him here today. So I would like to express my deep gratitude for the organizers of this ceremony in this meeting, for the great organization and the welcoming. So the Chad is facing a big environment crisis with 2.5 desertification per year, and the progress of the desert to 5 kilometers every 5 years. Chad was an essential country for a million of peoples, and we see that the surface of our country is diminishing with the Chad, with the influence of His Excellency President Idris, to work in reinforcing the resilience of the population about the SDGs of the African Union. Dear guests, we had put in place a lot of initiative for the National Agency of the Great Green Wall. In its program, we have the National Week of the Tree, and to permit to every citizen from Chad to plant 1 tree at least. This is an example to illustrate our engagement, and it's one of the different initiatives that we took against or to fight against the climate change. We have also actions for fixing the population. We always said that we have to restore the land, and for that we need to plant trees, and to plant trees in the Sahel, which is affected by the climate change. So the population became vulnerable, and those population from the Sahel should have particular attention from the Chad, not only from Chad, but from the world. Today they are vulnerable people, and they have to migrate because they cannot have any means of subsisting, and we have the Boko Haram, Daesh rebellions. All this disturbance, they go to those organizations, or that's why we wanted to have those farms to take in charge those population without letting them migrate. So to give them lands to plant. So this is to tell you that the Chad is engaged towards 2030 to plant more than 30 million of hectares and to create 100 employment, green employment to be created. And we know that the Chad is a country in the center of all the problems.
And the refugees is a big problem. Refugees from Sudan, refugees from Central Africa. You know that Chad cannot be responsible for all these populations moving to our country, despite the considerable effort of our partner, the PAM, the PNUD, the FAO, all these organizations of the UN, which are working hard to protect the people in these countries, but this would be insufficient. We must particularly look at the Sahel region, the situation. We're facing multiple problems, not just one. These problems make up all different problems that we're talking about today. It's not just one single problem. We must pay attention to this vulnerable population. I thank you very much.
Welcome. Your Excellency, for sharing your experiences. You have clearly shown that restoring landscape is a vital tool, not only for environmental protection, but also for strengthening livelihood and food security. Thank you. Our third speaker is Mr. Abdallah Al-Wardat, Director of Global Partner Countries at the World Food Programme. With over 25 years of experience at YFP, he has managed complex emergency and development operations, including in Lebanon, Afghanistan, and Yemen. His expertise in building strategic partnerships is essential in aligning global efforts with local needs. Mr. Al-Wardat, please come. Welcome.
Thank you, Excellency Fatimata.
Yes, pleased to meet you.
Thank you.
Welcome. The floor is yours. Mr. Al-Wardat, could you share with us the key messages you will take from this day to your colleagues at World Food Programme? Thank you.
Thank you so much, Excellency Fatimata. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen. I think it has been a long day. As His Excellency said, resilience needs more than a day, and I fully agree with you, because resilience is the only way for us out of daily humanitarian assistance. It's the way for sustainability. It's the way to help people, to help themselves. So, fully agree with you. Maybe this is for the next COP that we need to take into consideration. So, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and really be part of the panel today. And colleagues have been really working hard since morning, just to recap what we have here this morning, what we have listened to from different experience, from different regions, from different countries. And I'm hopeful that with this short speech, we would be able to recap and capture, excellent examples, excellent experience coming from countries, coming from different partners, and also from the World Food Programme itself. You related to partnership. We all agree that partnership is a key, in all what we are doing, and particularly today here. So, let me go back to my official speech now. So, Excellencies, distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude the Resilience Day and reflect on the discussion of the past days here at the COP16, we are reminded of the stark reality that desertification and the drought are not just environmental challenges. They are existential crises faced by millions of vulnerable people around the world. These challenges contribute to hunger, poverty, and displacement. Yet, they also present us with an unparalleled opportunity for transformative change. We have heard time and again that land restoration is needed for drought resilience and water security, driven by people-centered approaches. It is not only necessary, it's our largest opportunity to shift paradigms and chart a course toward a more resilient future. Land and water, they are the most generous donor humanity has ever seen. Sustain us with the food, shelter, and hope we need to thrive. They offer us the sense of community that binds together. But we must do more to protect and restore these vital resources. The international community need to accelerate the restoration of hundreds of millions of hectares degraded lands by 2030, particularly in areas where hunger, land degradation, lack of jobs, and insecurity exemplify the effects of ecosystems collapse. We urge all world leaders and global citizens to unite in this crucial endeavor, restoring degraded lands and replenishing vital water resources. Such actions, such as regenerative agriculture, water and wind erosions control measures, and water harvesting must leverage the huge workforce represented by the youth and women, particularly for job creations and to promote resilient food value chains. We also heard about the need to enhancing early warning systems for droughts and sandstorms and disaster risk financing. This holds the power to complement the restoration and the future reduce humanitarian needs, rebuild social cohesion, and restore human dignity to communities in crisis situations. We salute the offers put forward by the Pan-African Great Green Wall Initiative that His Excellency talked about. Many partners contribute to achieve the vision of a Great Green Wall. Since 2018, WFP and its partners in the Sahel region have advanced vision of African Great Green Wall, reaching over 4 million people across 5 Sahelian countries. Many partners today shared similar great examples. These efforts exemplify the transformative power of land restoration, but need to scale up. This morning, also at the early morning session, we heard Margot, our regional director in West Africa and the Sahel, mentioning what WFP has been doing in the Sahel in this regard. Land restoration is not only good for soil health and therefore essential for healthy diet, but also for empowering women and youth. We heard it's also good value for money. Again, this morning we heard our colleague Margot mentioning the return of investment, in the Sahel. For every dollar invested in land restoration, it generates at least $3 in return within 5 years and $4.5 within 10 years. However, what is clear and emerging from this great exchange is that success we have achieved so far depends on the following 5 critical factors. Strong partnerships, as we talked earlier, these and critical and must be rooted in actions. Partnerships that unite governments, international organizations, local communities, research and academia, and the private sector in the shared goal of restoring degraded land, enhancing food security, and building resilience. Second, continuous community engagement, from planning to design to implementation, and measurement of what works, as well as to draw upon local know-how and innovation. And we saw today and during the past week that many innovations are the other AI we need to consider ancient innovation. Stronger capacities at all levels. These are needed to replenish the talent pool of experts required to tackle increasingly complex and land degradation issues. Hence, we need to work with greater rigor in the selection, design, and implementation of intervention. This needs dedicated support, and that can be achieved only through strong national ownership and close work with countries, academia, and research. Fourth, the measurement of evidence. I think it's important to show that we have results at the end of the day, you know. And that's why it is one of the important factors that we have listed here, as we need to elevate the proof of why this is fundamental for people, for the planet, and for the pocket as well. Adequate resourcing. We all know that without sufficient longer-term funding, the scale and impact of our restoration efforts will be limited. So we need the resources as well. Only by working together, we can create a future where both people and planet thrive. It's also clear that current investment in safeguarding our water and soil resources are alarmingly inadequate. In Africa alone, the African Union estimates that 64 billion is needed annually to ensure water security. Many of the countries affected by land degradation, climate change, food insecurity, and conflicts are affected by low financial and technical support. The risks are high, but we need for action is urgent. WFP's vision for the future is clear. Large-scale, converging programs that place communities and host governments at the center, supported by multi-year and blended financing to transform degraded ecosystem into fertile and thriving ones. Excellencies, distinguished delegates, let's commit today to the unprecedented action required. Let's join forces to restore the lands that sustain us, enhance food security, and build resilience for those most vulnerable. Together, we can create the future we all seek, one where both people and planet thrive. Shukran, wassalamu alaikum, thank you so much for the Kingdom, for this great organization of this event. So we are really pleased to be partners in this event. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you, Mr. Al-Wardat, for your thoughtful contribution. You have emphasized the urgency of collective actions and the need for immediate, tangible outcomes to address the pressing needs of vulnerable populations. Our first speakers is Mrs. Safa El-Tayeb El-Kogali, Country Director of World Bank for GCC countries. She brings extensive experience in human development, education, and resource management, having worked across multiple regions. Her work reflects a strong commitment to building local capacity for sustainable impact. Mrs. Kogali, please, welcome. It's my pleasure to meet you. How are you? Pleased to meet you. Mrs. El-Kogali, we will be delighted to hear your vision on how the World Bank can strengthen its commitment to enhance resilience in this region.
Thank you.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Good evening. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to start with a verse from a Sudanese poet, Muhammad al-Fayturi, where he says, "نحن جوعى ونحن فقراء."
We are hungry, we are poor, but we are fighting so lands don't die and tomorrow doesn't fade away.
We fight the earth so that the fields do not die and tomorrow does not fade away. And today's session on resilience really captures this verse from Al-Fayturi. As you heard throughout the day, not only are the challenges of land degradation, desertification, droughts, and water scarcity inextricably linked, but the solutions also are connected. At the World Bank Group, we are committed to making connections and fostering collaboration across sectors, geographies, and institutions to help build resilience through a holistic and integrated approach. Countries in the Middle East and North Africa have been making concerted efforts and towards greater environmental sustainability over recent years. Especially governments and citizens have been increasingly raising awareness of how important the environment agenda is, not just for today, but also for the future generations. In this COP16 and in the sessions throughout the day today, we learned about the different initiatives and actions. I would like to highlight the leadership of our host country, the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, in establishing the Middle East Green Initiative, the Saudi Green Initiative, the Global Water Organization, and the Sand and Dust Storm Centers, which we heard about. We're working with clients around the world to protect natural resources through landscape restoration, biodiversity, conservation, and community engagement. For example, as you know, oases in the Middle East and North Africa region have traditional and cultural value for communities. However, we know that due to climate change, reduced water, and the agrobiodiversity is decreasing in these oases, impacting the communities that depend on them. But also, as you heard today, earlier, that the World Bank Group is supporting countries like Morocco in finding solutions to rehabilitate and revitalize its oasis network through a dedicated program. We bring lessons as a knowledge bank from other countries, for example, what the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia is doing in Al-Ula Oasis, as a way to bring lessons to other countries around the world. They're working with communities to improve agricultural practices and livelihoods, and also thereby creating jobs. On water security and drought resilience, I'd like to highlight 5 key aspects. First, it is critical to build strong institutions and governance around water management. As you know, low water service fees for irrigation water is giving a perverse incentive to farmers to grow water-intensive crops in areas of water stress. Tariffs for drinking water are also very low, and the region has the highest proportion of GDP, 2%, spent on public water subsidies. Water distribution systems have very high losses, sometimes up to 50%. The undervaluing of water across the region provides significant disincentives to water utilities to reduce losses of water. Secondly, even if countries succeed in addressing some of the challenges, as you've heard from my colleagues, there's great investment needs, particularly given the impact of climate change and growing populations. This will require concessional resources, strategies to leverage climate financing as part of the adaptation strategies, and the increased deployment of guarantee instruments to leverage private sector participation. These are areas that the World Bank Group is focusing on across various sectors, in bringing in the private sector, in creating guarantees for the private sector to invest in important development areas such as resilience to climate change. Third, accurate climate and hydrological data are needed. And again, you've heard from my colleagues the importance around data. They're important to adapt water management strategies to the impacts of climate change, such as changes in precipitation patterns and the increased frequency of droughts and floods. This information will help to inform decisions so that decisions are based on evidence and not just on views. It is important to know how to allocate water resources, integrate and optimize non-conventional water resources with appropriate regard for economics and financial sustainability, and respond to emergencies such as droughts and floods. Fourth, MENA would benefit significantly from the development and strengthening of frameworks to manage shared water resources. More than 60% of water resources in the Middle East and North Africa region are shared between 2 or more countries. Yet there is a lack of agreements or institutions dedicated to managing these shared resources. Fifth, the advent of digital technologies provides new opportunities to improve water management, connect citizens to improved water services, and accelerate economic growth. And again, I want to send a shout out to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in terms of the advances they've made in using digital technologies across the board in all sectors. In closing, I would like to acknowledge and thank the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for the partnership with the World Bank Group. Next year, we will celebrate our 50th anniversary of our partnership. We're honored to be part of this COP16 and championing this important agenda locally, regionally, and globally. We appreciate the collaboration we have together, addressing a number of these issues through partnerships with the Ministry of Environment, Water, and Agriculture, with the Saudi Water Authority, the Saudi Irrigation Organization, and National Center for Environmental Compliance. The Resilience Day was an effort of our World Bank teams working together with the World Meteorological Organization, the World Food Programme, and the UNCCD. We are thankful for this fruitful collaboration for this COP16. Jointly, along with our partners, we need to work to build resilience and integrate nature, climate, and water action in support of a world free of poverty on a livable planet. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your, Mrs. El Khogali. Thank you so much for your insightful remarks. You have demonstrated how well-targeted investments can create lasting resilience and benefit communities on the ground. Our final speaker is Mrs. Birgi Laminzana, Chief Global Policy Advocacy and Regional Cooperation of UNCDD. Mrs. Laminzana, welcome.
Good evening. Thank you very much. I'm standing in for my Deputy Executive Secretary, Mr. Andrea Meza, who is held in a meeting, but I'm really happy to be here among you. Excellency, Mr. Minister Abdulaziz El-Shabani, Deputy Minister of Water, Ministry of Environment, Water and Agriculture for the Kingdom of Saudi, thank you very much. My brother Kudu, thank you for being here. I appreciate all the work, and I know that when I was in Chad and when we are going through Green Wall, the work you are doing there, thank you for that, and thank you for being here. Mr. Safa Al-Tahai El-Kogadi, thank you very much also for not only being in this panel, but through you to all your team for all the effort since this morning. It was a long preparation, and I will come back to that, between World Bank, WMO, and WFP, the Kingdom of Saudi, and UNCCD. Mr. Alvardi, thank you very much. I just want to say that my only word maybe today will be a big thank you. It has, when we talk about collaboration, when we talk about partnership, this event is a reflection of partnership and collaboration. It's really a reflection of being and coming together, on making some time compromise on how to build the sessions. It started with the concept notes. We're talking with the ideas and initiatives from the Kingdom of Saudi, with UNCCD, And then we had great partners shape in and take it over and make it wonderful, wonderful the way it is today. I recognize Ruth, Nat, Bob, Wally. I can't cite all of them, but it has been a weekly meetings, sometime in odd hours, with our partners, with the Kingdom of Saudi, Abdulaziz and all his team, really shaping this concept. Shaping it not only because we want to be presenting something, but shaping it so that everything will interconnect. From drought resilience, from water scarcity, from sun and dust storm, using the tools, early warning system, but bringing the countries here to share their experience. And this experience has been amazing. We started this morning with the opening of my executive secretary, Ibrahim Thiaw, who told us about the history of resilience, showing us an example, followed by the example for the Kingdom of Saudi, who also not only all the great initiatives they are doing, but not only for their country, for the region, but also at global level. So I want to be long. I know that you have a long, long day looking into drought resilience, water scarcity, listening to the countries. My only word is on behalf of the UNCCD that we are really grateful to all the partners who bring their means, their brain, their financial and human resources into making this Resilience Day a success. And I hope that it's really a beginning of a long collaboration and a fruitful one, so that the outcome of this session will shape our collaboration, which is already standing. We have long collaboration with World Bank, with WMO, with WFP, and we have great support and collaboration with the Kingdom of Saudi. And we look forward to take what is outcoming here, shape it within the decision from this COP16, which is an amazing COP, into shaping and changing and shifting the needle for our communities, for our region, for the world. So thank you very much, and I look forward to coming together to implement the outcome of this session, and I'm really grateful. Thank you very much. I want to end up to thank Her Excellency Fatimata Sheib, who accepted to be jumping here and facilitating this session for us, despite her busy calendar today. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Mrs. Lamezana, for delivering the closing remarks on behalf of the UNCDD Secretariat. Thank you for your inspiring remarks. You have provided us with a clear and motivating vision for building resilience at a global scale. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, as we conclude this session, I extend my heartfelt thanks to our distinguished speakers for their enlightening contributions, and to all of you for your active participation. Today we have been reminded of the power of collaboration and the importance of acting together to create a more resilient future. Resilience is not just an idea, it is a commitment to action, to inclusion, and to lasting change. Let us move forward with determination, turning today's discussion into meaningful steps for the benefit of our planet and its people. I thank you and officially declare this Resilience Day session closed. Thank you.